Shalom, Israel. Shalom, shalom. It's your boy, Kazumak, your brother, your Ak. Coming to you today on August the 7th, the Gregorian date, day 5 on the Most High's calendar. The world calls it Thursday. It's been a few days since I posted. I'm trying to be more consistent, maybe not every day, but I've been working some early mornings and late nights, but when I can, when I'm driving, if it's daytime and the light's good, for right now, this is how it's going to be done, so, they come when they come, I guess. But I was reading the other day with my spiritual daughter. We was reading in Exodus chapter 25, and at the beginning of that, the Most High is giving instructions about how to build the temple, the tabernacle, and the ark, and all that. And I've read this several times, but he enlightened me. He opened my eyes to some things. I mean, I'm not saying this is going to be deep, but I'll share with you, and if it blesses you, all praises to the Most High. But I just want to get it out there too. I don't want to just hold it in. I want to share. So at the beginning, he gave the reason for building this. He said, that's where my presence is going to be. That's where I'll give you instruction. That's where I'll come and talk with you, talk with Moses, and then Moses gives it to the people. But that was going to be the location of the Most High's presence. And because they were, by now they're coming out of the wilderness. They were, or getting ready to anyway. And, so when they got into the land, there would be a central location to hold this stuff. So he gave them instructions, and they had to use a certain kind of material. He gave them the blueprints, basically all the measurements and all that stuff. And I've read that several times and understood that, okay, these are just Most High's giving direction and telling him how he wants it. And yes, but this time reading it, the Most High, he highlighted that he was very specific in what he wanted for a reason. Well, probably several reasons, but I'm going to give you the one reason he gave me. Maybe you've heard this before, maybe you've thought of this, but it was, if Moses would have chosen to deviate or to do something different or do his own thing, it would not have met the Most High standards of what he wanted this temple, this tabernacle, the ark to look like, and the purpose for it to serve. So then the question becomes, would the Most High still came and dwelt there? If Moses would have said, well, I don't want to use gold here, I want to use silver. I don't want to use pure gold, that's too hard to get to. I'll just use, I'll go with wood and then overlay it with gold like some of the other stuff. I don't want to use acacia wood, that's too hard to get. I'm going to use this other wood that's more accessible and it won't be as hard to work. If he would have done those things, would the Most High still have went and came and dwelt in that place? My guess would be absolutely not. If you ask me, absolutely not, because he did not build it according to the Most High's instructions. So fast forward to today, when we read in the New Testament or the New Covenant, what people call the New Testament, but the New Covenant or renewed covenant, in 1 Corinthians, Paul, through the Spirit, says now we are the temple of the Most High. Now we're the tabernacle where the Most High dwells, and he's always wanted to dwell with people, not in buildings made with hands, but within people. So within his people specifically, Israel. So now, are we to just be able to? Are we able to just live our lives however we want, or can we just do whatever we want, and then still expect the Most High to dwell in us, to be with us? I mean, because if the physical tabernacle, the physical temple, had to be very specific in measurement and materials used, how much more our bodies? How much more the way we live our lives? So for me, it always goes back to, yeah, we need to keep these commandments. I'm not saying that that's where our salvation comes from. That's not what I said. I just simply said we need to keep the commandments. Why? Because he told us to. It's an obedience thing. That's what it is. It's an obedience thing. Just like Moses and the builders of these things, they had to obey the instructions. They couldn't go off and do whatever they wanted to do, or use whatever material, or put it at, this is going to be too big, we want to make it smaller, it'll be easier to make. They couldn't do that. They had to obey the instructions of the Most High, as do we. And he told us we're to, worship and rest on a certain day. He told us where to eat or not eat certain things. He told us to, marry or not marry certain people, certain nations. And that never changed, because the Most High don't change. You find that in Malachi, a couple verses up from people's favorite verses when it comes to money, tithing. Will a man rob God? Go up a couple verses before that. That's Malachi 3 and 8. But go to 3 and 6. Then you'll see that the Most High does not change. So when he gave us instructions how to live, it was so that our lives can be a certain way. We can be free of wickedness and uncleanness and unrighteousness, so that his spirit can indwell us, so that we can be instruments of honor, not dishonor, for his purposes. He's the potter, we're the clay. He makes us to he made us to do certain things, or to be certain things. Everybody's got a gift or a talent or a purpose, and obviously we're not all the same. We don't all have to do the same thing. I mean, there's scriptures that talk about the body has many parts, but he highlighted that, which was he was very specific on what materials to use. And then the reason why he wanted it built a certain way, because that's where he was going to dwell. So then the question becomes, is your temple a place where the Most High wants to dwell? And we can't use the excuse, well, the Most High knows my heart, or he knows how much I want him to dwell in me, but I got to deal, I just got all these things and I'm not even trying to deal with them. Do we all have places in our lives that can be better, need some correction, need some cleaning up? Absolutely. But does that excuse us from doing the things that we can do? Absolutely not. We are to do what we can do. There's some things that are easy to do. For most people, it's easy to not eat pork. There are just some people that I just love it. I just want to eat it. I don't care. I'm going to eat it. Or shrimp or crab, all the seafood. When the Bible's very specific, the scripture is very specific that if it comes out of the water, it must have fins and scales. If it's meat and we want to eat it, it has to chew the cud. It has to have the cloven hoof. It's very specific. That's found in Leviticus chapter 11. I mean, it's actually, if we would just have a mindset to be obedient and obey, we could simply read and simply obey. And it's really not that hard. And that's why Messiah said, we come to him, we come to the Most High, we got to come like little kids. Little kids, you tell them something, a lot of times they just believe it. They don't need proof, they don't need scripture, they don't need, you tell them, they just believe it. Now we go to the scripture, we read it, we can follow it. If it's not really, if it's just a simple thing, why is it so hard to just follow it? Why is that so hard? The reason it's so hard is because we want to do what we want to do. We want to make amendments and changes. We want it to be easier. We want to follow the crowds. We don't want to be set apart. We don't want to look set apart, because then we have to answer some questions. And now people are saying, well, why do you do this and why do you do that? And now we got to answer some questions. And then they might come back with another challenging questions. And sometimes you got to just be like, listen, I can't even answer that. I don't know the answer to that question, but I'm going to tell you this. This is what I believe, and this is how I'm going to live my life. And I don't have to always have an answer to every tough question out there, because some people, that's how they'll try to get you, and that's how the enemy will use them to try to get you with a barrage of questions that you can't answer or have a hard time answering. And then you start to questioning, your life's purpose and what you really do. And does that sound familiar? Ain't that what he did to Eve in the garden? Did the Most High really say you can't eat He got her thinking, got her doubting. And then before you knew it, she was disobeying. That's his favorite trick. He's been using that trick the entire time. He keeps using the same trick over and over again because we keep falling for it. We have to stop falling for that trick. He tried it on the Messiah when he was fasting for 40 days and 40 nights up in the wilderness, but it didn't work on Messiah because he came with them scriptures and he's like, hey, listen, I'm not falling for that. I'm not falling for that. No, this is what the word really says. He didn't go, well, I mean, yeah, he did. I mean, I should be able to throw myself from there and he can catch me, or yeah, I'm really hungry and 40 days and 40 nights is just about up, so I should be able to turn these stones to bread. No, it wasn't. It was like, listen, hey, you want to come with the word? I'm gonna come with the real word. I know what you're trying to do. I know the game you're playing, and I'm not finna play. I'm bigger than that game. I'm above that game. He didn't fall for it, and we got to stop falling for it. We got to just speak the simple truth. Did the Most High really say, listen, I'm not falling for that. This is what he said, and this is what it is. Well, do you really understand the deepness of it? I don't care. This is what he said, so this is what it is. This is what I'm doing. And if one day the Most High sees fit to enlighten me to the deeper meanings of that, well, then all praises. And if not, doesn't matter. I'm still just going to follow it. You might call me dumb. You might say I'm following it blindly, or I don't have no understanding. Whatever you want to say, that's fine. I'm going to still live my life the way the Most High is telling me to live it. As to the best of my knowledge and ability. And then he brings the correction when it is needed. He brings the correction because he knows when I'm ready for it. He knows when my life needs it, when it's ready, when I'm ready, so I can hear it and apply it and make those changes and do what he said to do according to how he said to do it. Just like how he told Moses and them how to build the temple, what materials to use, at what measurements to use to do it. So way back then, he showed them how to build a temple with hands. But now his desire, and it always has been, is to not dwell in temples made with hands, but to dwell in our temple. And it is our responsibility to make sure that our temple is habitable for the Most High to the best of our ability, because we can't afford to make excuses. We cannot afford to just do what we want to do and disobey and think the Most High is going to bless disobedience. He will not bless disobedience, not willful disobedience. Now, there are definitely places where there's some negligent disobedience in all of our lives. And as he shines the light, that negligence becomes understanding. Where there was darkness, when he brings the light, now it's on us. Are you going to change according to your understanding? Or are you going to keep doing the same old stupid stuff, even though you now understand? Now, that's on you after that. That's on me after that. And that's how good he is. He could dump it all of it on us at one time, and we'd all be overwhelmed, and it would crush us and kill us. But he's better than that. He's bigger than that. He is more loving and caring than that. So he does it to us little by little as we go along. You find that in, I believe it's in Esdras. Little by little, he punishes us. What he's doing for all the other nations, the ones that he did not choose, and the ones that reject him, he's just saving all that up and so he can pour out his wrath at one time, and they're not going to be able to deal with it. So be thankful if the Most High is dealing with you and trying to correct you right now and showing you things little by little. And you look around and maybe the people around you, family, friends, neighbors, they're not getting that, so they get to live any old kind of way they want. That is not good. That's not good. I know it's hard, because sometimes it's hard for me too. But I'm telling you, what I believe and what I want you to believe is that he punishes us little by little because he loves us, because he has chosen us, so that we have time to make these corrections and be a temple that is habitable for his presence. Be a temple that is habitable for the Most High's presence. Shalom.